I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
نزدیک پادگان قلمردیه. پادگان قلمردیه اینجا.
For years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the State of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. This morning, the IDF began preemptive and precise strikes targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb in the immediate time frame. We have no choice. We are operating against an imminent and existential threat. We cannot allow the Iranian regime to obtain a nuclear weapon that would be a danger to Israel and the entire world. This operation is for our right to exist here, for our future and for our children's future. The State of Israel has the right and the obligation to operate in order to protect its people and will continue to do so. The IDF conducted significant preparations for this operation. We are well prepared both in defense and offense to defend ourselves. The IDF will continue to defend the State of Israel.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue for as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jewish state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear Holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. Now, as Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire and to attack us with the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. Yet in defending ourselves, we also defend others. We defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran, and I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is with the brutal dictatorship that has oppressed you for 46 years. I believe that the day of your liberation is near. And when that happens, the great friendship between our two ancient peoples will flourish once again. I want to assure the civilized world, we will not let the world's most dangerous regime get the world's most dangerous weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range of Iran's ballistic missiles would bring that nuclear nightmare to the cities of Europe and eventually to America. Remember, Iran calls Israel the small Satan. It calls America the great Satan. And this is why for decades, it's led millions in the chants of death to Israel and death to America. Today, Israel is responding to those genocidal calls with action and with a call of our own. Long live Israel and long live America. Our action will help make the world a much safer place. I want to thank President Trump for his leadership in confronting Iran's nuclear weapons program. He has made clear time and again that Iran cannot have a nuclear enrichment program. Today, it is clear that Iran is just buying for time. It refuses to agree to this basic requirement of peaceful nations. That is why we have no choice but to act, and act now. The hardest decision any leader has to make is to thwart a danger before it is fully materialized. Nearly a century ago, facing the Nazis, a generation of leaders failed to act in time. They were paralyzed by the horrors of World War I. They were determined to avoid war at all costs, and they got the worst war ever. They adopted a policy of appeasement. They closed their eyes and ears to all the warning signs. That failure to act resulted in World War II, the deadliest war in history. It claimed the lives of 60 million, including 6 million Jews, a third of my people. After that war, the Jewish people and the Jewish state vowed, never again. Well, never again is now. Today, Israel has shown that we have learned the lessons of history. When enemies vow to destroy you, believe them. When enemies build weapons of mass death, stop them. As the Bible teaches us, when someone comes to kill you, rise and act first. This is exactly what Israel has done today. We have risen like lions to defend ourselves. Over 3,000 years ago, Moses gave the people of Israel a message that has steeled their resolve ever since. Be strong and courageous, he said. Today, our strong and courageous soldiers and people stand together to defend ourselves against those who seek our destruction. And by defending ourselves, we defend many others, and we roll back a murderous tyranny. Generations from now, history will record that our generation stood its ground, acted in time, and secured our common future. May God bless Israel. May God bless the forces of civilization everywhere. Thank you.
Trading got you feeling like this? Losing your fur and your crypto? Yeah, manual charting is a beast. Makes you want to smash stuff. But wait, what's this shiny new toy? Could it be? One tap, screenshot, iTrade. Go. Magic box does the work. Boom. Support, resistance, patterns. Even a Yeti gets it. Suddenly, green candles everywhere winning, like a boss Yeti. Gronk's making bank, snowballs stacking sats. The whole cave is rich.
Yes.
Stop raging, start trading smarter. Download iTrade AI Trading Assistant. Yeti approved, not financial advice.
Good evening, folks. Welcome back. It is Thursday, June 12th, 2025, and it has begun. It has begun. The Israeli Air Forces attacked Tehran overnight and continue a second and third wave of attacks with dozens of aircraft, F-35s, F-15Is, flying and taking out nuclear enrichment facilities, taking out the leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Command, as well as senior members of the government. A massive strike on Tehran tonight and a game changer in the race to stop this theocracy from achieving the possibility of having nuclear weapons, on the verge of getting there, courtesy of Barack Hussein Obama and Joseph Robinette Biden, these corrupt officials in the Democratic Party, providing hundreds of millions, nearly billions of dollars, US dollars, and then Joe Biden driving up the price of fuel with his idiotic energy policies and his failed foreign policy, giving a windfall of over $200 billion of excess cash, which Tehran has used to fund terrorists in the Houthis in Yemen, in Gaza with Hamas, and of course also in Lebanon. Yes, it is an unbelievable turn of events taking place this evening as the Israeli Air Force has struck back in a massive first strike, causing carnage across Iran, wiping out many of the leaders of this corrupt, fascist, totalitarian regime, which has been oppressing the Iranian people for over 40 years. Iranian Americans across America rejoicing tonight at the strike at the heart of this illegitimate regime in Iran, this terror sponsor. It is out of control here. And of course, who are their friends in South Africa? The African National Congress and the likes of Naledi Pandor. These are evil people who support evil regimes intent on fascist oppression of women and the murder of innocents, Christians, Muslims, and Jews around the world. It is time to pay attention to what's going on, folks. Massive attack here by the Israeli Air Force, as I said, overnight. These attacks began a couple of hours ago, and they continue at this hour as daylight arrives in that region of the world. Folks, this is something else here. The Israelis, once again, a first strike effort here. They planned this operation for well over a year, and intelligence indicated that they must take action now, or the Iranians will achieve the necessary 83% enrichment of plutonium to build their 15 nuclear bombs that they're prepared to build. Iranian nuclear scientists also targeted these attacks overnight. Highly successful. No indication of any losses of Israeli aircraft at this hour, but Iran has suffered a grievous blow tonight. And of course, they're pontificating, bloviating that they will strike back at Israel. Remember, Iran fired 180 strategic missiles into Israeli cities, towns, murdering people just in October of last year. Unprovoked attack, attacking Israel. This is a violent regime that has no legitimacy whatsoever in a civilized world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we had indications this was going to happen even for those falling asleep. We saw that the United States had drawn down its personnel at its embassy in Baghdad in fear of an attack and retaliation against the Green Zone in the past few days. Of course, that was announced publicly after most of those people had already been evacuated. And on top of that, U.S. military personnel in hardened positions throughout the Middle East and our ships at sea in the Persian Gulf or Arabian Gulf, depending how you prefer to call it that, already prepared for this activity. The United States participated in no action here. We are not an actor here, and President Trump has warned the mullahs not to attack U.S. personnel. We weren't part of this. Should Iran be stupid enough to attack U.S. personnel, I can guarantee you that the wrath of God will come down upon their evil, sinful, fascist heads. Yep, this was predictable ever since Barack Hussein Obama shipped billions of dollars in the back of U.S. military aircraft on pallet loads to the mullahs in Iran to further his effort to destroy Western civilization. That's right, I said it. Barack Hussein Obama, an idiot of the highest proportions, a man who was responsible for the death of millions in the Arab Spring, a man who was responsible for the rise of ISIS and the destruction of the Yazidi Christians and the torture and murder of Syrian pilots. This is Barack Hussein Obama and his little protege, Joseph Robinette Biden, who gave the Iranians hundreds of billions of dollars in windfall profits from driving up the price of oil. He did more to finance these clowns than anybody since Barack Hussein Obama did this. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an epic evening here, and let's get to some of the news stories covering these events unfolding. Israel launches strikes on Iran, targeting Tehran's nuclear program. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said the strikes aimed at Tehran's program will roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival, as you heard a few moments ago. Sirens went off in Tehran as Israel launched its preemptive strikes. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu posted that video on social media. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard headquarters hit by Israel, according to the Iranian state media. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chairman tonight, Senator Jim Risch of Idaho, said, "We stand with Israel tonight. We stand with Israel tonight and pray for the safety of its people and success of this unilateral defensive action. I am also praying for the brave U.S. service members of the Middle East who keep America safe. Iran would be foolish to attack the United States." Airspace around Tehran airport closed, according to Iranian media. Former Israeli ambassador to the UN, Israel doing what it must do to defend itself. IDF said we are operating against an imminent existential threat, as you heard a short while ago from the chief of the defense forces. Netanyahu says the operation will continue as long as it takes to remove the snake, the head of the snake. Netanyahu vows never again. IDF confirms the attack was on Iran's nuclear program. Cryptocurrency prices have plummeted. Oil has spiked, and the stock market has begun collapsing this evening in response. Oil prices went up 7% already in early information. Ambassador Huckabee is closely following the situation with Iran from the embassy in Jerusalem. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has denied U.S. involvement, warns Iran against targeting U.S. personnel or interests in the Middle East. The Israeli Air Force announced at 9 p.m. this evening, that is 2 hours and 14 minutes ago, that the IDF launched preemptive, precise, combined offensive to strike Iran's nuclear program. Dozens of IDF jets completed the first stage that included strikes on dozens of military targets, including nuclear targets in different areas of Iran. Today, Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. Weapons of mass destruction in the hands of the Iranian regime are an existential threat to the state of Israel and to the wider world. The state of Israel has no choice but to fulfill the obligation to act in defense of its citizens and will continue to do so everywhere it is required to do so, as we have done in the past. Wow. Stock futures fell 600 points this evening in after-hours trading. U.S. stock futures fell Thursday night after Israel launched an airstrike on Iran. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 611 points, or 1.4%. The S&P 500 dropped 1.6%, and the NASDAQ 100 futures lost 1.6%. Oil prices spiked 7% in early trading this evening as Israel pummels Iran. Oil futures shot higher, and U.S. stock market prices sank as Israel attacked sites in Iran. The IDF chief, we have reached a point of no return. We have no choice. IDF Chief of Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir says the military launched this attack because the time had come. We'd reached the point of no return. The Israeli Air Force making those strikes. Multiple reports from news agencies around the globe, except in South Africa, where the media are still sleeping in their beds. Explosions reported in Tehran as Israel says it's striking Iran nuclear and military sites. Photo and videos posted by Iranian state media show the scale of damage to buildings from the strikes. What appear to be apartment buildings are lit up in flames as firefighters work to put out the blaze. Another video from the outlet windows of the top floors of a skyscraper appear to have been shattered. Separately, Iran's Natanz nuclear facility was also targeted. Images posted to Telegram by the semi-official Tasnim news agency show several other properties damaged and on fire. Large crowds of people gathered outside near fire trucks as workers attempted to put out the blaze. Explosions across Tehran as Israel attacks the Iranian capital this evening. Black smoke rose Friday over Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility at Natanz, though it wasn't clear how bad the damage was. Iranian state television briefly showed the live picture with a reporter. It's partially above ground, partially below ground, with multiple halls of centrifuges spinning uranium gas for its nuclear program. Al Jazeera, Israel launches major strike on Iran. Israeli military says it launched a wave of strikes against Iranian military nuclear sites and a major escalation against Tehran. Yeah, I think that's an accurate description. An escalation, yes, it is an escalation. Mossad carried out attacks inside of Iran. Boy, the Israeli intelligence are impressive. Covert sabotage operations against air defense's long-range missiles. Most of the air defense appears to have been taken out in the first strike and through sabotage. Mossad carried out a series of covert sabotage operations against Iranian air defenses and missile facilities in tandem with widespread strikes at a number of locations across Iran. A senior Israeli official told me that other than airstrikes, the Israeli Mossad conducted several operations inside Iran against Iranian air defenses and against Iranian long-range missiles. Dozens of targets across Iran related to the nuclear program, military facilities, and military commanders have been struck by the Israeli Air Force, and Israel is now bracing for a response from Tehran. Israeli citizens likely to head to their bomb shelters here shortly if they haven't already. Israel launches preemptive strike. The head of the Revolutionary Guard killed in Tehran. Israel early Friday local time launched what it said was preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear program and other military targets. The strikes, including on the capital, Tehran, killed General Hossein Salami, head of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iranian state media reported. So, multiple explosions reported in Tehran. Iran's Revolutionary Guard commander, as I mentioned moments ago, Hossein Salami, killed in Israeli strike, according to Iranian state media. Major General Hossein Salami, head of the Islamic Guard, Revolutionary Guard, was martyred in the Israeli regime's attack on the headquarters. Israel believes the chiefs of Iran's military, Mohammad Bagheri, other members of military top brass, and senior nuclear scientists were eliminated in the opening strikes. Wow. Al Jazeera, Israel carries out strikes targeting Iranian nuclear and military sites. Israeli military carried out several strikes targeting Iran's nuclear program and military sites. Israel strikes Iran's nuclear sites, according to Axios military chiefs, as U.S. denies any role. President Trump publicly opposed an Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear sites on Thursday, saying he still believed a nuclear deal was possible. Hours later, Israel began targeting nuclear sites as well as Iranian military's top brass and senior scientists working on the nuclear program. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self-defense. President Trump's administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners. Let me be clear, Iran should not target U.S. interest or personnel. New York Times, Iran launches barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel in retaliation for assassinations. Ooh, yes, that's from October last year. Unprovoked attack on civilian targets. That's what Iran did last year. Remember that? 180 missiles fired at Israel, escalating the conflict. This is in October of last year. 180 missiles fired at civilian targets in Israel. A school hit in Gedera, a mall and restaurant damaged in Tel Aviv, and a person killed near Jericho. This is what the Iranians did. Terror state. Donald Trump, before the strikes occurred, warned of a massive chance of conflict amid the relations. He said Israeli strikes in Iran are possible, and he was correct. They have now occurred. Well, we'll get to that. That's the judge who's told Trump he has to take the troops and give them back to California, which is in violation of federal law, U.S. Code Title 10, and the Insurrection Act of 1878. Anyway, welcome back to the program, folks. Approximately 300 people here at this early morning. Pleasure to have you join me here. Does Iran have the right to defend itself? Sure, Sean. Good luck with that. Let's see how they do. Jeremy says the ANC is stuck in a tight spot trying to rebuild ties with the U.S. while backing Iran and Hamas. No, they're not in a tight spot. They have no genuine desire to repair relations with the United States. The ANC is happy to have frayed relations with the United States because they're fools. Yeah, they think that they can continue to lie to Trump, and he's going to fall for it. Desiree Fanikerk says South Africa gets most of its oil from Saudi Arabia and Nigeria. How will this affect us? Well, the price of oil is going to go up, so your petrol price is going to go up. South Africa is a terror haven supporter, and they like terrorists. They're friends with Hamas. They're friends with the PLO. They're friends with the mullahs in Iran, and they're going to find themselves in a very difficult diplomatic spot. And unfortunately for Ramaphosa, he'll be at the G7. He's going to have to answer for South Africa's sins if Trump even gives him the time of day, if he even goes to the G7 at this point. This may take precedence. Nuclear sites have been targeted. I wonder if ANC will now beat their chest and allow to stand in solidarity with Iran, ignoring how this hurts. Yes, that's exactly what they'll do, Jeremy. Or they'll try to be mealy-mouthed and go, oh, this is an unfortunate conflict. We hope that this wouldn't happen. But yeah, they will be on standby for Jonathan Concreus live on CNN. I have no idea who that is. Does that have the right? Okay. Given the current climate and this government's troubling stance, we might need to consider increasing security. That's Shul tonight. There's a growing sense of concern about anti-Semitism. I'm with you on that. Yeah, Friends and Family Only Friday strikes again. A loss of life is not good, but Israel had no choice. They defended the world. Agreed, Inkwell Odyssey. Israel has saved the world, at least momentarily. Yes, don't think they had any choice. Russia and Iran, not our enemy. An invented religion in ancient Rome from Greek mythology seeking to rule the world, forcing New World Order through terrorism. Now, do your homework. Listen, straight shooter, I don't know what drugs you're on, but you ought to ease up on Zolling, man, because whatever you're smoking is really affecting your judgment. Now, World War II was invented to create Israel. Nothing to do with Hitler. Dude, what are you smoking? The Arabs actually supported the Nazis. You don't even know your history. The Arabs supported the Nazis. You're out there. Iran was not attacked unprovoked. I stand with Israel. Yeah, no, Stephen Orkia. Iran attacked Israel with 180 missiles and murdered civilians last year in October. All countries must be on high alert. These crazy terrorist extremist Muslims are embedded in all Western societies. Yes, because morons in France, Germany, Austria, the United Kingdom, Ireland, the United States, and Canada allow them to flood into our countries. Yep. Hidden amongst real Muslims, these fanatical lunatics. YouTube itself has become too big, started to operate like government with mathematical principle called lowest common denominator. Okay. Wow, you guys are spewing all kinds of stuff tonight. What are your predictions for the next 48 hours? Next 48 hours, Israel will continue airstrikes and obliterate Iran's military capability, driving them back into the Stone Age in many respects. I don't think the Iranians have hardened anything other than nuclear sites. So their aircraft on the ground, their air defense, their military bases, their tanks on the ground are ripe targets for the Israelis, but they're not going to focus on tactical targets like tanks and artillery. But they are definitely going to take out airfields. They're going to take out aircraft on the ground. They're going to destroy air defense, and they will continue to pound the Iranians. No doubt. Ben Gurion Airport's closed. Yeah, that was closed yesterday. Baruch Hashem for those prayers for Israel. Thank you, expat family. Do you think Russia will get involved? No, I do not, Chris Kruger. I do not think they'll get involved. Iran said it will respond within the next 2 hours. That was half an hour ago. Yeah, okay, Voldy. Let's see what happens. The Iron Dome should intercept most of the missiles that are intended to murder civilians, which is what they're targeting. Yeah. And see, the Iranians are stupid. They should target military targets, air bases, but they won't do that. Tehran regime is insane. They kind of do what they say. This is going to get long one. Yeah, Sean Nadir. They threatened to do this, to wipe out Israel, wipe out America. And that's what they've been trying for years. So the ANC verbally attacked Israel for Israel's self-defense programs will only once again prove the ANC is in Iran's pocket. Yep. What the South African government feels about how their ICJ case, given their controversial ties to Iran. Yeah. Okay. Weapons of mass destruction. That sounds very familiar. Yes, never know. Yes, that's right. Russia has weapons of mass destruction. The United States has weapons of mass destruction. Iran cannot be allowed to have weapons of mass destruction. Colonel's the only outsider that gets Boers, not just feel friendly towards us, but gets us, knows our history, knows full well we aspire to freedom, that we are not Nazis. Yep. All right, so yeah, here we go again. You know, many Boers are in the desert already. Basically run most logistics for AFRICOM and on the steppe. Boer volunteers on both sides learning a hell of a lot. Yep. How do I feel about the situation? I'm relieved. I'm relieved. I've been terrified, honestly, without speaking it out loud, that these idiotic mullahs would actually get a nuclear weapon and that we've allowed it to happen. And quite frankly, President Trump's stance has not been solid enough on stopping this from happening. Yeah, so I've been a little bit concerned here, but I knew Israel was going to strike eventually. Look, you have to be impressed with the incredible intelligence capacity of Mossad and Israeli intelligence, their military intelligence as well. I mean, look at this coordinated strike. These aircraft come virtually undetected and obliterate air defense and early warning in Iran. You see that AAA anti-aircraft artillery firing wildly at non-existent targets that already blown up. That was Karaj nuclear site. They're just shooting around. Nothing. There's nothing in the air there. Just panicking. So, you know, remember when they blew up all the cell phones and killed all those leaders of terrorists? And the terrorist attacks dropped by 90% from those terrorists in Lebanon when they blew those people up with that coordinated attack. Pretty amazing what the Israelis can pull off. Israel directly defied Trump's orders not to attack Iran. 2 non-Christian countries fighting. No, well, Matthew, Trump doesn't get to order Iran, as the South Africans like to say, or not Iran, Israel. Israel's a sovereign state. It will act in its own self-interest, and it should. It doesn't take orders from President Trump. What will be South Africa's response? Well, the U.S. response is that we're not involved. Holden says the entire U.S. Israeli Air Force is airborne. Probably, and their tankers are up there refueling. Yeah, refueling. I bet they're probably refueling over the Iraqi desert. That's probably where they're refueling. But let me take a look at the inventory of Israel's aircraft. In the F-15, F-16 range, they have multi-role F-15s, the F-15E, the F-15EX, Eagle 2, Strike Eagle, Eagle, Strike Eagle, Eagle 2. 66 of those with 25 on order. F-16 Fighting Falcons, which are kind of aged, and they have 174. But these attacks are being done by the F-15I and the F-35 Lightning II. They have 45 of those stealth multi-role, and the stealth probably led the initial attacks to take out the Air Force, or take out the air defense, excuse me. So those are the aircraft involved in this. They are quite busy at this hour. Quite busy this hour. Yeah, so yeah, probably all in the air. Unbelievable. This is quite an effort by the Israelis, what's going on here. ANC's digging into a grave and doing it expense every day, South Africans. Yep, they'll cry we were misled. Yep, exactly. Crazy Khamenei just said they will continue refining nuclear, and Israel is prepared for itself and bitter and faithful. Well, you know, the Israelis are simply retaliating from October of last year. That's one way to look at it. It's only a matter of time before this happens. Says Courtney, the Islamic Republic is terrible, needs to go. Yep. Heather Carmody, good morning. Looking forward to the show. Missed last night's. Okay, you're welcome. All right, I've missed a couple super chats here. The chat is pretty slow. There's Courtney gave $1.99. How are futures markets reacting to this? Poorly. Boeing is in trouble after that first ever fatal crash of a 787 Dreamliner, which is the aircraft I flew back from South Africa on. Wow, I wonder how the South African government feels. Yeah, I wonder too. Trump knew, however, he is testifying knowing to be able to broker peace in a way Trump did not know. I'm sure he knew. Yep. Not trolling, just genuinely curious. Is it fair for a country with nuclear weapons to tell other countries to not develop nuclears without dismantling their own? Yeah, it is fair. It is fair. Israel has never used its nuclear weapons to attack its neighbors. It's a deterrence. And it's not working with Iran. So it is fair. Absolutely fair. Some countries just can't be trusted with these weapons. Just like USA is sitting on the bench just waiting for Israel to call them in. Yeah, waiting to be a replacement player. The Colonel loves Israel. No, I hate fascist, theocratic Nazis. I hate them. Don't love Israel. I lived in Israel. How can you support this? This is unreasonable aggression. Are you high? Are you high, Tyler? Did you miss that report? You've forgotten how Iran fired 180 missiles at civilian targets, murdering people in October of last year? Unprovoked attack. The Iranians have financed Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. The Houthis have fired they've fired missiles from Yemen and attacked civilian targets in Israel. Hamas has attacked and murdered 1,200 people. Hezbollah has murdered people. All funded by Tehran, all enriched by Joe Biden's failed foreign policy and his domestic idiocy, with a over $200 billion windfall in the increased price of oil, artificially driving the world into recession. Joe Biden. And billions and billions and billions of dollars loaded on pallet loads in the back of C-17 aircraft and illegally flown to Iran by Barack Hussein Obama. What are you saying? How can I support this? I'm not supporting anything. I'm reporting the facts. I'm not supporting anything. Do you know about Operation David Sling? Yes, I'm familiar with that. With all this regional tension, I can only imagine how high fuel with South Africa are about to skyrocket. ANC will back Iran, otherwise they'll be called a true comrade. Yep. Maybe the ANC will send our one working military helicopter to help Iran. Yeah. Or maybe they could send the one functional, well, there's two functional Gripens. They could fly one Gripen up there with the only pilot they have, and then maybe we can join the war. Zionist shill. Well, asswipe. Hey, buddy. Asswipe. Remove. Piss off. Footsec. Dickweed. No one asked you to come here and be an insulting little fuckwad. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Dickhead. Get off your knees and quit slurping. They attacked the regime, causing war in the area and others areas like my country, not the people of Iran, unlike Iran's regime, not its people. I have no idea what you're saying, John. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. Sorry, Terry, I'm a little distracted. Could have just put the bugger off bunny for that clown. There you go, Tyler. There you go, Tyler. Bugger off bunny, buddy. Coffee at 12 a.m. is mental. Who's drinking coffee at 12 p.m.? What are you talking about? Coffee at 12 p.m. is mental? Lots of people go to cafes at 12 p.m. What are you talking about? Totally become behavior of a 50-year-old man. Well, I'm not 50, dumbass. I'm not 50. Your math is a little bit off there. South Africa's been supplying uranium undercover. Not sure. Love my coffee anytime. Yeah, people love their coffee. So, according to Israel, USA is busy removing its assets. Well, that was already, the United States reported that yesterday. Already reported that on Thursday. Well, it's still Thursday here for another 20 minutes. What are the Sunni nations saying about Israel's strike? There's been no response from any Arab nations thus far that I've seen. Yep, I think the chart is slow because the Bourmeisters are busy making coffee. Oh, the chat is slow. I misread that as chart. It's chat. Yep. Courtney says there's also the Samson option. IDF is serious. I think you've got too many ends there, though. But thank you for the $2 super chat there, Courtney. Yeah, maybe now the Iranian people will stand up against their evil government. Well, they did. They stood up against their evil government, and the U.S. did nothing to help them. They let them be slaughtered. They've done it on 2 occasions, and the U.S. just sat around and let them be slaughtered. If ever citizens in Iran can push for total government change, it is now. I think so. I think so. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that little dweeb comes in here, insults me, and calls me names, and then I cock him out, and it hurts his feelings. Hopefully wise heads like Tulsi Gabbard. Dude, Tulsi Gabbard is out of her element. She has no idea what she's doing. No idea what she's doing. She hasn't led anything larger than a team of 6 people in her entire life, and suddenly she's in charge of thousands of people responsible for the intelligence directing the United States. I don't feel at all comfortable with the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Not at all comfortable. Yeah, giving her that job was a mistake. Let her be the ambassador to the UN, something where she can't do any harm. Whatever Cyril had Hope had mending ties. U.S. is going up in flames. Yep. Just like Iran, he's backing the wrong side at the worst time. Yeah, exactly. This is a huge mistake for South Africa. The foolish foreign policy formulated by Naledi Pandor, Jabba the Hutt, was really a huge mistake, and it's gonna bite South Africa. So, folks, get ready for 30% tariffs because the trade negotiations in South Africa are over. They're over. They never even started. They still have yet to send a representative to the United States. Still waiting, and they haven't sent a representative. Yep. Did you give up, Tyler? All right. Or are you going to grow up now? Hopefully, okay. Luca, do you think that Israel may turn its attention to South Africa in a military way? No. For what? There's no point in going after South Africa. It's not a factor. It's not a factor. The illegitimate genocide case at the International Court of Justice is just an annoyance. It's a time waster. There's no time for Israel to deal with South Africa. South Africa's not important. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to anybody. There's nothing that South Africa has anybody really needs, despite what people say. General question, with all the tensions everywhere, what's your opinion on whether it'll be World War III? I don't, in our lifetime, well, Peter LaGrange, how old are you? My lifetime is not another 100 years. So, but I would hope not, but certainly not in the near future. I don't think we're going to see one in the near future. South African government will always side with terrorists because that's what they were and probably still are, says Buster B. Yeah, Cordell believes so. Okay. Good morning, Mental Chewing Gum. What's going on? ANC must send EFF to protect Iran. Yeah, there you go. Send the Red Berets, the Teletubbies, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we could send the Teletubbies to Iran. Wouldn't that be something? I mean, here come the Teletubbies. Here they come. What are you doing over there? Teletubbies hiding. There he is. There you go. EFF, buddy. There's the EFF. Yeah, the jelly tots. Yep. ANC must send them. Yep. Has the Department of Homeland Security issued anything concerning terror cells? Nope, not that I've seen. No reports there. Fred Barunga, why does it feel as if World War III will be biological? Looking at China. Oh, look at China trying to smuggle biological weapons into the United States. 3 of their agents have been caught, and we're supposed to trade with this country that is endangering Japan, sailing aircraft carriers in Japanese territorial waters, flying their fighter jets within 150 feet of Japanese patrol aircraft in Japanese airspace. I mean, look, the Japanese have been incredibly restrained as North Korea has fired intercontinental ballistic missiles over their airspace in act of war repeatedly during the Biden regime, during the Obama regime, not during the Trump years. And now the Chinese with their abusive behavior in the Eastern Pacific, unbelievable. Yeah, no. That's another country. They're trying to slip biological weapons into America. They've been caught. They've already been sending biological weapons in the form of fentanyl over here for years, killing tens of thousands of Americans every single year. Byron Funderbank, welcome to you. Patches, what are you saying there? Uranium from our 7 atom bombs have been sold a long time ago. Why? Okay. Good morning, Golda. How's it going? Golda Kruger. It boggles the mind to see idiots who enjoy Western freedom and values blindly support these communist regimes. I agree. I'm sorry. Let me turn off the jelly tots here. The little red Teletubbies. Goodbye, Teletubby. Listen, when the Iranians tell you they want to obliterate you, you should take them at their word. I mean, sometimes it's just an effing goat. It's just an effing goat, folks.
A fucking goat outside.
It's just a goat.
No. It's a fucking goat.
Sometimes you just got to take them at their word. And the Israelis have taken their word, and therefore they've launched this massive strike. Good morning, yes, and Elaine, Erasmus. Good morning to the Neanderthals, the Canines, the right-wing podcasters, and all aspiring car guards. By the way, folks, I have spoken to that family that was outed and doxxed by that lady in that TikTok video. And then we see reports of that in South Africa claiming that these people didn't have this and didn't have that. They actually were treated rather shabbily by their refugee resettlement agent, and I'm conducting an investigation, and I'll be contacting the senator from that state as well as the Trump administration for what has happened there. Yep. Good point. Lucky South Africans got rid of their nuclear weapons. ANC would have sold them to Iran. Well, hey, Roberto Wilco, maybe they have sold them to Iran. Yep. NIH funded gain of function in Obama's first term. Yep, I'm aware of that, Holden. Yep, that's another thing they did. Gave the Chinese a bioweapon. probably know Amir, great on the ground, real coverage. I do not know who this is. That the Iranian guy that lives in the UK? I don't know that name. BRICS is an alliance of bad actors, and Ramaphosa is happy to be associated with that. Well, it's not really an alliance. There's no treaty. BRICS is an acronym created by an American, Jim McNeil, I think it was Jim McNeil, an American economist, to explain the 21st century growing economies of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Only China has grown. The rest of them have really gone nowhere. So, and they've done it illegitimately. Real Wesley Smith is here. Welcome to you. Anstey's barking like a chihuahua at the Great Dane, backing Iran, poking global powers, and pretending to lead. But when it blows up, they'll play victim, and South Africa will pay the price. Spot on, Jeremy. It's exactly right. That's exactly right. Folks, I've been so busy. I recorded 2 videos yesterday, and I haven't even had a chance to publish them. I've been so busy with Veterans Affairs. Spent from 4 o'clock this afternoon doing Veterans Affairs. And then I did that until after 9 o'clock. And after 9 o'clock, I spoke to the family that was doxxed by that TikTok video, the refugee family, who, in my view, based on the information I'd already received prior to talking to them, and now having talked to them and gotten some confirmation for some of the things I'd heard about, I believe they're treated very poorly. And this is not how we handle refugees, and I'm very angry about it. So I'm investigating this. And that went until 9:45, and then I got in touch with Thea to touch base with her and see how she's doing, and the other refugee. And then I came home, and this war was underway within a half hour before I got home. And I followed up on it, checked the news, and took a look at what was happening, and then went live with this broadcast. So, funny with the red teddy. Oh, an Israeli covered Middle East news. I don't know him, Willem Pretorius. I'm familiar with him. Contrary to Tyler's, lies about me loving Israel. I don't love Israel. I lived in Israel. I lived in Saudi Arabia. I didn't love Saudi Arabia. Lived in Tunisia. I loved Tunisia at the time. So did the UK actually refuse Malema's visa, or it was because he submitted the application late? They rejected his visa, but they used the flimsy excuse that the consulate was closed. It wasn't, or the High Commission was closed. The High Commission wasn't closed. It was a banking holiday, not a national holiday. So the government was actually open. That was a fairy tale. Yeah. Do I ever sleep? Byron, I'm not sure. Maybe. Yes, Cockprot 24. I wonder if they're even up yet. Let's take a look if we can see if we can find out what's going on over at Cockprot 24 very quickly here. No, they still haven't woken up yet. They still have reports on the Eastern Cape. Nothing on this. Nothing on this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I got a second here. Content. Yeah, YouTube tabs keep crashing. It's kind of annoying. So anyway. Yeah, so nothing on it yet. So good morning, Werner Kurtz. How are you doing there? 383 people currently here, just 201 likes. I mean, look, I think most of you can hit the like button. I know Tyler's not going to hit it, but can't you guys hit the like button? Nothing to support their narrative. That's true. So they'll probably ignore it as best they can, or they'll call Israel a terror state. Ice cold in Gauteng, African swagger travel. Interesting. Yep. And David Free, welcome to you. Amazim, Texas. Can't wait to see how Cockprot spends. I already read that. Okay. So he's been caught out tons of times lying through his teeth. I don't know, Patches. I don't know the guy. Copy and paste. Yeah, well, that's what the South African was, that story on those refugees. That was just cut and paste. And that's the video I made earlier. Well, let me see if those are done. I don't think they're done. Let me see. Actually, I can give you a little foretaste of that if you guys are curious about that. I know where it's going to be here. Let me see. It's going to be in this folder, in that one. Okay, let me see. All right. Oops. Come on. Here we go. It will be this one. Okay. Okay, so just a little foretaste of what's coming up here. Now I've edited these and produced them, but 2 videos. Now this is by Yellow Breeches Creek, and this was earlier today. Hey folks, welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. Got the Yellow Breeches Creek just behind me there. Little bridge right over, old bridge. So, Yeah, you've been Rasooled. The great-grandson of Nelson Mandela has been opening his mouth about the refugee program, and he's pretty poorly informed. Mayubeye Sizwe Mandela, the great-grandson of Nelson Mandela, has called for the South African government to take legal action against the 59 Afrikaners, which weren't 59 Afrikaners, the 59 South African citizens, including a colored couple, who relocated to the United States, saying that they falsely claimed refugee status while fabricating a narrative of white genocide. A couple problems with that storyline. First off, they didn't falsely claim refugee status. The program is for South Africans suffering from unjust racial discrimination. They applied for the program. The United States vetted them over a 3-month period and agreed that they were suffering from unjust racial discrimination. They didn't falsely claim anything. There's a little foretaste. That's a video I've got coming out. So that's one I did, and I filmed another one. Yeah, I have seen the images in the 1970s. I remember it was one of the most westernized parts of the world was Iran, and so that was a reaction. Unfortunately, the French gave the Ayatollah Khomeini refuge. He should have been imprisoned, but they gave him refuge. Creek doesn't look like LA. Yeah, no, LA's a mess. What is Rasool? Annalene Erasmus, when the former South African ambassador to the United States, Ibrahim Rasool, called Donald Trump the leader of a global white supremacist movement and Americans racist, he was persona non grata and removed from the United States for his undiplomatic behavior, a shameful conduct for a chief of mission. That's not what you do in the diplomatic world. I've worked in multiple embassies. That's not how you behave. He knew that, and he got caught doing it. And so when he got PNG'd, I turned his surname into a verb. You've been Rasooled. Hey, Man Up Mastery. Thank you for your hard work. You're very welcome. Well, that's not Mandela's son. That's his great-grandson. Expat wants to know, why does YouTube sometimes cut off live stream? Because it's a form of shadow banning, harassment. I keep getting messages from people all the time claiming that they never have problems with any other streams, just mine. I don't know how true that is, but they tell me all the time. You're too hungover to get up on time, have breakfast, doors open, let staff and dogs inside. Stitching Stories, good morning. Thank you for your chat with Herman. That was very informative. Okay, cool beans. Well, I'll have more of these chats coming along. Okay, so here's another one. This one's a bit longer. A video I also recorded a little bit up the road from this, one of my favorite spots to go. It's pretty cool. Hey folks, Chris here in central Pennsylvania once again. Even on a slow news day, people generate news. Now, I'm in the middle of nowhere here on a backcountry road, not too far from Yellow Breeches Creek, a world-renowned bass and fly fishing location. A road that you wouldn't expect much traffic, but mark my words, somebody will probably come down this road while I'm filming. We'll see. But even on slow news days, stories come that make you shake your head and have you refute the nonsense. And this one in the South African. The title of this one is No Food, Jobs, or Phones, Afrikaner Refugee, in quotations, family stranded in the U.S. Well, okay, the question whether stranded is in quotes because we don't know if that's true. But the refugee thing, once again, South African media, this is the South African, and they're putting in quotes. Why? These people are legal refugees. You may not like that, but that's U.S. law, and that's an eternal sovereign issue for us. South Africans are fond, especially politicians in the media, of saying that we're a sovereign nation. You are. You can do what you like within the norms of international relations. And so can we. We are a sovereign nation. This is our law, and these people have been granted refugee status because they're suffering from unjust racial discrimination, as per the conclusion of U.S. government officials. Case closed. Take the quotations off refugee. They are refugees. It's as simple as that. That's the bit that gets edited. So they start the story during editing. I had mosquitoes bugging the hell out of me. There's no mosquitoes here because I'm far away from water, but that's down close to water. That's about 250 meters from the creek, and yeah, mosquitoes were big out today, and bugs. Now, that's a place where I could live, near nature, woods, quiet and peace. It's beautiful. Yeah, that's very close where I go to pick up my steamed crabs, not too far down the river from that. Likelihood of the Dimona nuclear site will be targeted as a response. I don't know, Holden. I don't know. The weekend has started at 4 p.m. in Christchurch, but 9 degrees outside. Chilly wintertime there, top 10. Praying for the families of the Indian Airlines crash. Yeah, that's a hectic one, isn't it? Oof. There's speculation how they supplied Iran with uranium. Yeah, there's speculation. Guys, here's the thing. Again, I oftentimes know more than I can share. I'll just leave it at that, okay? There's oftentimes I know more than I can share. Remember what I did for 36 years, okay? Yep. Looks like they filmed Gettysburg in 1993. Nope, that's not where they filmed Gettysburg. Line of the Sands in from Namibia. Any news on a return volley from the Iranians? No, nothing yet. Let me double check on that. Last I saw, they were, we hit 392 and we've dropped from that. What's going on with that? Last I saw, actually the way to do this is to look on Twitter. What's this? Oh, that's the news from today. I don't need that. Let me get rid of that. It's more crap than I need there. Okay. Let me take a look and see if we got, Iran is still trending. Okay. If they've struck back, it will be here. Okay, yeah. No, it doesn't look like there's been any. Let's see if I've got any more news here. So Google. Yeah, the Iranians, no, they haven't struck back yet. Khamenei is alive, but Hossein Salami is gone. He's gone. That's two IRCG chiefs that have been taken out, one by Trump, and now this one. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is alive and is being continuously briefed about the situation. Well, wonder where he's hiding, in a coffee shop somewhere in Tehran. Why? There's an unexpected surge in people claiming Social Security. Why is that? Social Security retirement claims tend to follow a seasonal pattern each year. Okay. Between January and May, the number of claims is 18% higher than during the usual period last year. Interesting. Save public media. The House has voted to defund public radio. Good. Good. So they sent this little note up. They want me to pay for public radio. I'm not paying for public radio. You're just a propaganda outlet. So I want to save that. That's an interesting little begging for money here. They've been taking my tax dollars for 50 years, and now they want me to give them more money. I don't think so. I don't think so. National Public Radio. Not going to happen. Brianna Harwood says, thank you for all your hard work and being a voice, a reason. Really appreciate how much time and effort you put into giving us the sometimes hard truth. Yeah. Yeah. Jeremy says, Cockprat24 should do a real expose on how many viewers they've lost with their informed spin doctoring. That's a headline. Yep. Hey, 787 Dreamliner. Man, your username is unfortunate today, isn't it, brother? Man, that's the first ever fatal accident involving the Dreamliner. That was pretty sad to see. Same as ABC in Australia. Agreed. Wow, it's really pretty where you are, Chris. Oh, yeah, Chantel's nice. Pennsylvania's gorgeous. No, I'm sorry. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's a horrible place. Don't come here. Kathy Faust has just subscribed. Thank you for that. Leftist propaganda funded by our tax dollars. 100%. Yep. Apparently, Iran took some of the fighters up to avoid damage. Smart move, but they must have either were missed in the first wave or the aircraft weren't targets in the first wave and they had a chance to get up. So, yep. But the Israelis in air-to-air combat will destroy the Iranian fighters. Yep. Yeah, no, it was very bad, 787 Dreamliner. We all, as South Africans, owe Chris a huge debt of gratitude for helping us spread the word about South Africa and the racist ANC regime. Danian Vitamin, hey, good morning to you. How are you doing there? Kevin Morris is here, acted in Grant, filmed here in South Africa. Have you watched in the States? Huh? In Grant? What is Grant? Never heard of a movie called Grant. Top 10 says, thanks for being here with Herman today, the only channel where you get the real truth. Well, I try. Courtney says, I think Utah is among the most beautiful states in the United States. Well, I'd have to agree with that, Courtney. I love Utah. It's beautiful. A lot of desert, but still beautiful place. And a massive salt lake, but, still beautiful place. If you're interested, there was a farm attack last year, 2 weeks before Christmas, just outside Mpumalanga of the Sten family, where the son was killed with a rock and the grandmother. Yeah, I'm interested, but I don't recall that attack. Yeah, General Grant, I understand. You told me Ulysses S. Grant. You were in a movie about Ulysses S. Grant? I didn't know about that. Louis Lombard, good morning to you. Roberto Wilco, the Israelis had a double agent number 2 in the Iranian military. I think he's in Israel now. Could be. Okay. Yeah, fantastic spots in Utah, and it's great for skiing. Powder is amazing in Utah. Yep. Fabian Bridger, good morning to you. Let's, folks. It's. Let me see if I can't find a news channel if they've got a current update. I know how to do this. Let me do. I've got. Come on over here. Where are you at? You're hiding on me. Let me find this. There should be a news channel on this Pluto TV. Hang on, let me see. Pluto TV. We can at least play it in the background. I'm looking for the news here. Hello, Pluto. A little bit faster. That'd be nice. Arnold says, here comes the crap. What crap you talking about, Arnold? Good morning, Jean de Coq and David Ruiz. Stella 4, hello to you. Pluto TV is not opening tonight. Why is that? That is not good. Let me try it again. It worked fine yesterday. I hadn't used it in ages. I love Pluto TV. It's a good site. But it's not working tonight. I don't know why. Yes, it's Friends and Only Friday, the 13th. Pennsylvania is a beautiful state. A bit cold winter, but really lovely states. Yeah, it's gorgeous, expat. What's this? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yes, my change from earlier. Friday the 13th. Is it the 13th? Oh, it is Friday the 13th. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, it's not opening up for me. So I'm going to have to go to a browser, but got to be careful with browsers when I do this. Let me see. Let's go to YouTube and see who's playing. Anybody got live? We'll listen to the audio. Okay. Gareth Cliff is live, but that's not the news. Don't see anything. This is all recorded. Oh, here we go. Agenda Free TV. I'm looking for Fox. Or actually, Sky News. Australia. Sky News Live. Let's see what we get here. See what's got, oh, that starts in 55 minutes. That's not going to help me. That's not going to help me.
Bit of a win.
And you can wear it with a jacket and it looks like you're at Augusta or something.
Yeah,
it does look
doing
like
an
Augusta.
episode on the bounce today, so I need to try get the
Gareth
hat
Cliff.
ready. So
Very-
Okay. Sky News Live. Here we go. Let's go to that. It's an advert. That's not going to help us. Text to image. What's this? Okay, here we go.
Middle East, and clearly its flight decks were fully loaded with warplanes ready to go. But I think most people had expected them to hold off and to see where
The oil price was up 7% earlier. It
went.
must
And
be up
only
12%
yesterday,
now.
Donald Trump himself said he didn't want the Israelis to go in. He wanted to see if a deal could be done. So the Israelis have decided, it seems, that this is the moment. There are a number of reasons why they have decided.
Yeah, the Israelis are right. Trump was wrong on this one. Lehan Oosthuizen, after you've discouraged us to stay away from Wyoming and we watched a documentary about it, I completely understand why you want it for yourself. Shh, 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 shh. Hopefully you did not make a mistake that was happening in the past. You're talking about the aircraft. Well, the flaps up and the wheels down was a very disturbing sign for that aircraft shortly after takeoff. Very disturbing sign. Yeah. So now I'm curious if the Joint Chiefs are at Raven Rock. Sent you an email now with a link on email. Check when you have time. Okay, Willem. A link with a link. That's interesting. Now I'm curious. A link with a link. Okay. Oh, that's the guy you were talking about. Okay. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. Okay, it went in Iran, 78. Skip our neighbor. Past was working on Iranian missile. Really? Okay.
Iran's weakness, but also because he has a sympathetic president in the White House, and because the Israelis believe the Iranians are getting now to a point where they're only potentially 18 months or so from building a number of...
Well, I think they're closer to 18 months. I think they're weeks away from a nuclear device. Yolandi Brindo just subscribed. Thank you for that. Yep. Yeah. So no, there's no Fox Live on YouTube. That's the only place I can get it. I for some reason my Pluto is not working tonight. I don't know why. Let me check to make sure it's going to the right place. Yeah, there it is. It's in the right place. Let me try it again. See if it'll load this time. Yep. It's not working. Maybe I need to update it. It's weird. Pluto TV. Let me try that. PL. There you go. Pluto TV. Yeah, there's the website. Let's see if I can get the website to work. The app is not working. I've been using the app. Yeah, okay, the website's working. Let me see if they got news on there. Sports. I don't want local news. I want news. I thought they had news channels. It doesn't look like they do. Nope. It just has local news. Let me see that. WJZ. Let's see, that's Baltimore. No, that's old Pam Bondi, so that's not going to help me.
Would happen. So I think we have to be prepared for a massive regional escalation in hostility as the Israelis take on and try and destroy Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment, but that's not a hard assessment to make. Things are just going to get uglier. Arnold says, I mean, watch the ANC double down in support of Iran instead of just saying nothing. Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think that's what we're looking for. In fact, I should do a video of that tonight. What will the ANC do? I wonder what uncomfortable truth the ANC is waking up to this morning. They love their smoke and mirrors, but reality is a way of catching up. Jeremy, you're spot on with that. Yep, you're absolutely spot on. International Affairs editor for Sky News over here. Yeah, no, 100%. I keep showing the same footage because there's not much footage to show. Man, it's a lot of privately owned cars just destroyed by the rubble falling from these buildings. Yeah, no. So I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be the chief of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard because you're a target. They're coming after you every time. Well, Iran will try to fire missiles back, but the problem with that, Real Wesley Smith, is that the Israelis have apparently been very successful at targeting key leaders in the Iranian military and governmental structure, as well as nuclear scientists. So there's probably chaos right now in the chain of command. And so is there even somebody that has the ability to retaliate and give the orders? And if so, are the missiles even intact? The Israelis flew dozens of aircraft, including F-35 stealth attack multi-role bombers, bombers, and also F-15Is into Iran and attacked multiple sites, military, nuclear sites, and went after key leaders in the government. And so the chaos may be reigning at this hour. They may not even be capable of striking back. I mean, we don't know. No one has the battle damage assessment at this stage. It's hard to say. But if they had the ability, they would fire 200 or more missiles at civilian targets in Israel right now. And most would be taken out by the Iron Dome. Some would get through. What is this, alts? Oh, the grants. Yeah. Well, I'm going to play that. Yeah. Iran's chief of staff has been eliminated. Yep, there you go. Mohammed Bagheri. Yeah, no, I saw that earlier. Actually, I went to the Twitter feed that was covering all this earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Come on. Where's my Twitter feed? Iran. It was there earlier. And all these people were taken out. Yep. Yeah, so Hossein Salami, gone. IRCG. He's out. And he wasn't the only one. There's more of them. Trying to find it. Now, the thing's been updated. It's not quite right now. But earlier it had all... Here we go. This is where I was earlier. It should show me. Oh, this is pretty cool. So, flight radar. This is how airspace cleared when Israel started doing their attack. Hang on. This is pretty... Come on. Stop it. Okay. This is pretty cool. Look at all the planes in the air. Okay. And then watch what happens. This is pretty cool. You ready for this? All right, here you go. So these are all the planes flying. See that? Okay. Not many flying over. Iran is right in the center of that picture. And then the Caspian Sea is to the north of it. And then below it is the Persian Gulf and Saudi Arabia. Okay, so watch how the skies clear out. So this is 11:30 UTC. So that's Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, 11:38, 11:40, 11:50. And then it's after midnight. Nothing yet. Now look at the Iranian airspace clearing out. Look at all the planes from Iran clearing the airspace. They're all getting the hell out. Look at that. Iran is clear. And nobody is going over Iraq anymore. Wow, did you see that? Look at that. It all takes place around 1 o'clock in the morning. Suddenly they're all screaming to get out of there. Look at that. 1 o'clock in the morning. And suddenly by 1:28 Greenwich Mean Time, so that probably about 3 a.m. or something like that in Iran time, the airspace of Iran is virtually empty. And then Iraq, that line coming down from Turkey over eastern Iraq, disappears too. Here you go. Watch this very quickly. Look at that. And then no more planes flying. There once planes in the north of Iraq in the Kurdish area turned around and went back towards Turkey. Look at that. Nobody's flying over Syria. Nobody's flying over Iraq. Almost nobody's flying over Jordan. And nobody's flying over Iran. Whew, whew. Man, oh man. Isn't that incredible? Look at that. No planes over Iran. That's crazy, folks. That's some pretty wild stuff right there. Pretty wild stuff. I need to download that bad boy. Copy link. That's really awesome to show. So download. Hang on a second. I love these flight sites. It's the same with ships. You know, when something happens, you can see people divert, and then suddenly they're not going there anymore. Save as. Okay. Cool beans. So I'll save that for later. So I've got it. I can use it tomorrow. Okay. Who else we got here? The Natanz nuclear facility on fire after Israeli strikes. Yep. Well, there's a couple more they took out. I'm looking to see it. Unconfirmed reports say here. This was earlier, 2 hours ago, that Mohammed Bagheri had been eliminated, but yeah, by a precision strike. But apparently, we confirmed that in the interregnum. Yep. Yep. Who else? There was a couple more people they say were taken out. I'm looking to see if I can find it now. Yeah. So yeah, it's hugely effective taking out these Iranian leaders. Israel hits Tabriz, second strike on Natanz, Iran supreme leader. Several commanders and scholars were martyred in the enemy's attacks. Their successors and colleagues will take their place. With this crime, the Zionist regime has prepared itself for a bitter, painful fate. Pfft, yeah, right. You had already planned to murder the Israelis, so who are you kidding here? Here's Iran's main refinery. This is their main oil refinery. Check this out. So this is not good for the Iranians. Check this out. Even the birds are getting the hell out of Dodge. Look at that. Look at that. That's Iran's main refinery. Up in smoke. Wow. That's cray-cray. That's cray-cray. Iran's state TV 7 minutes ago has said that the Iran's armed forces chief of staff Mohammed Bagheri is in fact been killed 7 minutes ago. Yep. What else? Who else we got here? Wow. Anyway, folks, yeah, so crazy stuff, huh? Let me look for the latest now on this. Anything coming up? North Korea will provide military support to Iran. Yeah, sure. Anyway, yikes. Breaking, Ahmad Raza Zolghafari, esteemed professor of Shahid Bestari University's nuclear engineering faculty, assassinated by Israel. Yep, he's gone. Taken out. That was 17 seconds ago. So that's another one. Yep. Who else we got here? Looking to see. We're taking pieces off the board. Well, we're not. The Israelis are taking pieces off the board. Looking to see who else they took out. Well, it looks like that's about it. More attacks. There's more video coming in now. Yep. Yeah, mostly about Bagari now, but yeah, other people being taken out. The Israelis, quite a successful evening so far. Let's see what Sky's got to say. Now it's an advert here, so that's not going to help me. Anyway, yeah, wow, crazy stuff, folks. It is a busy night here. This is not the night I planned on. I planned on editing videos when I came back and then going live, and I've been busy with this. I've been busy with this ever since. They mustn't call me up, Fred. Now, lady, turn the lights up. I need to see clearly now that Israel's hitting Tehran with our foreign policy games. They're catching up to us. Jennifer Lanier, welcome to you. No sound. What do you mean no sound? What do you mean no sound? My microphone is perfectly fine. There's sound. Sound. My microphone is perfectly fine. I can hear the sound. The videos don't all have sound, if that's what you're talking about. Israeli airlines are now taking their planes out of the Ben Gurion airport to Cyprus. Okay. Smart move. Yeah, the only planes you see in the air over Iran are Israeli planes. Yep. Starting to watch beginning now. Okay, Wesley de Klerk. Israel attacked a state in the Hamadan province that serves as command center for all Iran's air defenses. Yep. Attacked a site, excuse me. Chernobyl. Nah, there's no Chernobyl. But I think this will force the South African government to change their approach to U.S. interests since the leaders of the evil regime have been taken out. Not all. Khomeini's still there. I don't know what approach the ANC will take. I'm going to have to do some analysis on it. I think that they're probably just going to keep their mouths shut as much as possible, but they're dumb enough to say something about it. Dropping a bucket says, wow, salami for breakfast. Holy moly, what news to wake up to? Or you're just waking up, Sam. Welcome. Yeah, Israel has launched major attacks. I guess a lot of people are just getting up now, and I've noticed we've surged about 457. Let me go back and cover what's actually happening here, folks. Yeah, let me do this here. So I'm going to get to cover a couple things here very quickly. I'm not going to give the whole Netanyahu thing. That was a long piece, but I'm going to do the Israeli defense chief. Let's do that. Okay. So I'll bring myself up on the screen. So this is Israeli defense chief talking about why Israel acted here, and this is spot on. So yeah, where are we at here? There we go. All right, and we need to get this screen up. So come on. Where's it at? That's weird. I don't see the screen. Okay, there it is. God bless. There we go. All right, now let's play what he's got to say.
For years, the Iranian regime has called for the destruction of the state of Israel, planning and advancing concrete military plans to do so. Over the past few months, intelligence has shown that Iran is closer than ever to obtaining a nuclear weapon. This morning, the IDF began
Oh, that's not the chief of staff. That's just a spokesman. That's Brigadier General F.E. Dahan. This guy's got a great voice. I love his voice.
Preemptive and precise strikes targeting the Iranian nuclear program in order to prevent the Iranian regime's ability to build a nuclear bomb in the immediate time frame. We have no choice. We are operating against an imminent and existential threat. We cannot allow the Iranian regime to obtain a nuclear weapon that would be a danger to Israel and the entire world. This operation is for our right to exist here, for our future and for our children's future. The State of Israel has the right and the obligation to operate in order to protect its people and will continue to do so. The IDF conducted significant preparations for this operation. We are well prepared both in defense and offense to defend ourselves. The IDF will continue to defend the State of Israel.
Yep, exactly what they'll do. That's a brilliant commentary there from the IDF. So is it this one here? No, it's not that one. Got to turn the other one off. So turn that one off. Turn the screen off. There we go. And we're back. There you go. Yeah. Bet Naledi slipping through the foreign policy book like it's a cookbook. Yeah, Naledi Pandor. Yeah, she's an evil, evil person. 480 people currently here, 358 likes. Be sure to hit the like button, folks, if you don't mind. Yes. The Jewish Report had an article about comrades, Israeli runners being harassed. Yeah, no, Krista, I did a video on that. Yeah, I'm familiar with that story. I think Ronaldo, I know Ronaldo also did a video. He did one before I did, so a little busy. I'm still catching up with videos here. Buster B says, music to my ears this morning. Air Defense Commander Ghulam Ali Rashid killed. 2 nuclear scientists, Mehdi Tarani and Ferdi Abbas assassin. There you go. And another one, that's a third one, plus the IRCG. I mean, it's like the Israelis are taking pieces off the chessboard. Okay, no Rajesh Kuthrapali, no Howard Wolowitz, no Penny. They're just taking pieces off the chessboard, man. Just taking pieces off the chessboard. The Iranians will likely be in disarray as a consequence of this. We'll see what happens, but I don't expect them. You know, they say they're going to retaliate, but that's now been well over an hour ago. They threatened to retaliate against Israel. I have a feeling the Israelis have crippled their capability, but I mean, I'm sure they haven't crippled it completely, but still, wow. Syria can move the troops in the DRC to Iran. Yeah, Natalie, just dim the lights on Iran, exactly. Natalie, could you turn the lights down on Tehran? Yeah, wow. Lollyworm, hello to you. Okay. Rupert and his boy Ronnie must be sweating. Let's see how they spin this one, strategic diplomacy, while Durko scrambles to fix the ANC's foreign policy circus. Yeah, fair point there. Dara D, what's going on there? Veritas, high time Israel took off their gloves. I agree. It's also time for Trump to take off his gloves. We had a corrupt federal judge who's the demon rat brother, 83-year-old or 81-year-old brother of Stephen Breyer, former Supreme Court Associate Justice, saying that President Trump has exceeded his authority. That's a lie. Title 10 gives the president the authority. That judge is exceeding his authority, and he's a rogue justice and a San Francisco judge. And this should go to the Supreme Court, and Trump will be proven to be correct. In the meantime, Trump should just send active duty troops here. Send 10,000 active duty troops. Yeah. A bit in the dark. Can someone please fill me in on what's happening? James, well, you are a bit in the dark. You need to pay attention. Read the title of the program, Operation Rising Sun, Israelis' first strike against Iran. Earlier this evening, early morning hours in Iran, middle of the night actually, probably about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning local time, Israeli first wave of attack, bomber aircraft took out Iran's air defense network, its radars, and they have successfully killed the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and the IRCG. Also taken out several nuclear scientists and the chief of staff of the military, and destroyed much of the capability of the Iranians in nuclear. And 5 waves. Is it up to 5 now? Yeah, they just keep coming. The Israelis are pummeling Iran at this hour. They're going to drive them back to the Stone Age. What countries could come to Iran's aid? Nobody. Nobody's coming to Iran's aid. If you come to Iran's aid, you're going to get the wrath of the United States. It's not going to happen. No one's going to come to Iran's aid. Russia doesn't have the resources. China has no interest. And what is South Africa going to do? Send their one qualified Gripen pilot to fly from South Africa? Who's going to refuel them? Tanzania? Russia doesn't have the resources, alts, and they're not coming to support Iran. Erica Aklom, what an eye-opener to wake up to Israel at its best. Yep. That judge should be investigated. No way anyone thinks that the riots in LA is normal. He has an agenda. Yeah, exactly. He's paid off most likely, is my view. No, the Title 10 is quite clear. He's claiming that that the president doesn't have the authority to do this for protests. These aren't protests. These are insurrectionists. What an idiot judge. At the Green Summit, Ramos said he smells money for real and joked about dim the lights again. Yeah, that guy's an ass. He's going to, man. Ramaphosa he's really, really playing with fire. But, you know, he's arrogant enough he's gotten away with for 30 years. Iran will get aid from its proxies, which Iran supplies. From the Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, what exactly are they going to give them? James says, ooh, chitty, chitty, bang, bang. We do have a real problem with left judiciary. You're absolutely right about that line of sand. That's one of the reasons why the country is in such a mess. Wonder how the Houthi Tutsis are feeling now, getting their asses handed to them by USA. Yeah. Well, remember the past few days, the Israelis Navy attacked the Houthis in Yemen, blew up their docks. Yep. Whatever was delivered by the Lady R is now up in smoke. Possibly. Didn't Israel receive the JDAMs in 2016 through maybe Israel was planning this for 10 years? I don't know if they got JDAMs in 2016. I was busy at the War College. I didn't really pay attention to that. Iran will be okay once the ANC repays their loans. Yeah. It's just, Yeah, it could be like, the Iranian, the South African ANC could send SANDF to help the Iranians. I mean, just like, North Korea sent their special forces to help the Russians. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Isn't the hoity-toity a dance? I don't know. Do you think President Trump gets made aware of all Rama's idiot comments? Lynette, I sure hope that's the case. I really do hope it's the case. I've made videos, and I know that people in the Trump administration watch my content. I don't know if it gets to Trump or not, but I know they watch my content. I mean, it's clear. It's pretty obvious. And I've also been told that by people who are connected. Yeah, so I don't know if Trump sees it, but it would be nice if he did. Yeah, what's the ANC going to do for its next election now? How are they going to get money from Iran for the next election? Oh, they're on maternity leave. That's right. 16 knocked up ANC soldiers. What the hell are they doing in the Congo? Having sex. Yikes. Cindy Rose says the judge is compromised. Yeah, I think you're right. Rob Wood. Howdy, y'all. Welcome to you. Welcome to you. Anyway, folks, crazy stuff tonight. Israel now, apparently one of the viewers said on their 5th wave of attacks against the Iranians. This reminds me of a couple years ago in February of 2022 when I arrived in Orlando. Well past midnight, I finally get into my hotel room because my American Airlines flight was delayed yet again. I've flown American Airlines in the United States like 9 times the past 3 or 4 years, and 8 times I've been delayed. They're useless and overpriced. But American Airlines flew me to Dallas. I got there late, around midnight. No, I'm sorry, different flight, different one. So it flew me to Orlando, and I got there late, got my rental car around midnight. They gave me a Corvette. I took it back. I didn't want a Corvette. Give me a proper car, not one where I drive around like a pimp, leaning back like this driving. It's ridiculous. So I got another car, and then I drove to my Hilton resort. I didn't pay for it. I used my points because it's expensive. And what a great resort it was. They didn't even have keys to the room. The key machine was broken. Yay, it was like being back in South Africa. So I had to wait 45 minutes while they rousted and found the guard, not the guard, but the maintenance guy. He had a master key. So he let me in my room. I got in my room, and then I turned my laptop on, and I was going to go get a shower because I was all grubby and sweaty after being in humid Orlando, Florida. And Russia had invaded Ukraine, had attacked Ukraine. So I started covering that. We had, that night, we had 4,300 people tune in. Tonight, we're not quite there yet. We got 4,000 tuned in for this for the first hour and a half, yeah. So ex-Rhodey here, does the ANC actually still follow communist ideology? No, they're just bloviating. They're following kleptocracy. Kleptocracy, yeah. That's what they're doing. Kleptocratic doctrine. Colonel, not just some, everyone in the White House should be listening to you. Well, thank you, Lynette. Is yet to formally address these concerns, but is expected to release a statement clarifying its stance on oppression management. The video kind of reminds me of the videos that came out of Iraq at the start of the Gulf War. Yeah, perhaps. But I was in the Gulf War, so I didn't see those videos. Actually, I did see the original ones of the airstrikes because I was still on the ground then. Nas says, thanks, appreciate every video. Keep our people updated with fresh news. I'm trying. ANC will just get another loan from the World Bank. Yeah, exactly. What the hell's going on there? Yeah, how did the World Bank even approve that loan when the U.S. Is the major shareholder? That's bizarre. Well, no, South Africa will never repay that loan. It says junk bond status. South Africa can't get a loan from any reputable bank because they will never pay it back. Yep. Martin Fondabev, good morning to you. How on earth could the World Bank give these guys more money? I don't know, Veritas. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I've got the statement on what it's supposed to be on. I was going to make a video on that, but again, I can only make so many videos. I'm very busy. I'm trying to find, I actually have that here somewhere. Where did I put that at? I know I didn't get rid of that. So which one of these browsers is it in? Come on. Is it here? Here you go. Infrastructure modernization. Infrastructure modernization for South African development policy loan. The World Bank is giving South Africa $1.5 billion in financing aimed to support critical structural reforms to enhance efficiency, sustainability, and climate resilience of the country's infrastructure services and thus contribute to inclusive growth and job creation. What? South Africa faces deepening jobs and growth crisis with unemployment over 31%, average GDP growth below 1% for the past decade. Structural barriers, including weak governance, limited competition, and skills shortages, have slowed progress. Infrastructure services have declined. In 2023, power outages cut GDP by 2% and cost 500,000 jobs, while rail and port industries reduced exports by 20%. So they're going to give South Africa money to fix all that, but it isn't going to happen. So they want to improve energy security by unlocking investments into transmission. What the hell does that mean? Unlocking investment? What are investments in transmission locked up now? Enhance the efficiency of freight transport service by establishing an independent transport economic regulator. So you're going to loan South Africa $1.5 billion to create more bureaucracy. Wow. And they're going to contribute to the transition to a low-carbon economy by promoting the use of fiscal instruments and protecting people and communities affected. What the hell does that mean? The use of fiscal instruments. You're giving $1.5 billion. This is grift. This is just money that's going to be stolen by the ANC. They're not going to do anything. This isn't to build. It isn't to build bridges. It isn't to build ports. It isn't to build roads. It isn't to build infrastructure. It isn't to build any of that. It's just all gobbledygook. Read it from the World Bank. If you want to read this, I'll give you the URL to go to. So it's here. Here it is. It's a fact sheet. It's a bullshit sheet is what it is. There's no facts here. It's just total crap. So there it is, folks. If you want to go check it out for yourself and see the garbage that the World Bank has doled out. What a crock of manure. I want to save this page in case it crashes on me. So downloads. Got it. Saved. Man, what a crock. What a crock. Yeah, they won't repay the loan, Louis Lombard. How does South Africa going to keep pocketing foreign cash? Yeah, where's the $5.3 billion that they got in 2020? They got $4.3 billion from the World Bank, the IMF, the African Development Bank. The African Development gave them $285 million. And then the World Bank and the IMF gave them $4.3 billion. And then the BRICS Bank gave them $1 billion too. Money's just gone. Gone. No one knows where it's at. No one can account for it. Mervyn John says, thank you for the value content provided. I can't always join live, but always watch your live stream afterwards. Well, thank you so much. Be sure to like it, though, Mervyn. Don't forget to like the videos. They looted all the money now being given back again. Please take me out of my midst. Yeah, exactly. You should mention Bretton Woods. What about Bretton Woods? Bretton Woods was brilliant. Bretton Woods was amazing. What about it? It set the stage for the World Bank. It was the International Bank of Settlements. It allowed us to recover from the Second World War. Bretton Woods was brilliant. I've been to Bretton Woods Hotel. It was a homage for me. It was a pilgrimage to go there. Yep. Michael Burns says, settling into another interesting video by our well-informed colonel. We're very welcome for that, Michael. Thank you for being here. Israel struck nuclear sites. Christo Cloti, dude, you got to stop crying over the sharks. I mean, where have you been all morning? Have you been, having nightmares about the sharks and their season? Don't worry, the Curry Cup's coming up. You're coming in rather late, dude. We've been talking about this for an hour and a half. No, I'm just kidding, Christo. Having a little fun with you there. In a couch somewhere. Lee Janssen from Rendsburg, they keep loan money, but we keep struggling. Yep, things get more expensive and struggling to serve. Gotcha. Xavier Grayling's here. Bottom line, the handlers are just making South Africa more dependent. Harley says, I do not agree with you, Colonel. The ANC is pursuing the National Democratic Revolution with exceptional results. Kleptocracy is making hay while the sun shines. Yeah, the NDR is not going on, Harley. We can disagree. The NDR was something that true believers had, but they're all dead, gone. Cyril Ramaphosa is just a grifter. He wasn't part of the NDR time. He wasn't part of the struggle. He was just a union hothead, and he was promoted beyond his capability, as he's been his entire life, and he's out of his element. No, it's just a kleptocracy. Zandile Gumeda, Ace Magashule, Paul Mashatile, Cyril Ramaphosa, birds of a feather flock together. Yeah, no, this is not the NDR. These people have no idea what the NDR is. They just spewing nonsense. Close the curtains quick. ANC's obsession with nuclear power plants did not sit well with me. We can't safeguard copper cables. Imagine nuclear. Exactly right. Jan Rudolph says, I know where the cash is from 2020. The top sat around a table and chatted amongst each other on how to divide up. Yeah, I think you're right. Pumas to win the Curry Cup. Ooh, that's a bold prediction here. Jimmy Stonehouse going to pull it off. You think there, Arnold Brad? I'm going to say the Greek was. No, I'm just kidding. I'm hoping Western Province looks a lot better this year. They were atrocious last year. Atrocious. Oh, gosh, it was so hard to watch those games. Charlie Kirk, there are now initial reports explosion at 2 of Iran's main nuclear systems. Well, that's not new. That's hours ago. But you won't wear blue. Hey, Christo. Could be Cyril asking Ronnie, his loyal bootlicker, to shut the curtains. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Do we even have assets left as a guarantee for the loans? Soon we'll be at 100% of our GDP. Yeah, we're at 70+% now, 75. You're spot on, Karen. ANC will give money, CBA. I don't watch cricket or rugby anymore. It became a political tool in the hands of our government. Well, I still watch rugby. That's right, Stormers. Blue, blue, blue. Stormers, baby. Stormers all the way. Stormers all the way. Sorry, my nose is itching. Somebody must be talking about me. That's the wives' tale. Your nose itches, someone's talking about you. Nuclear is about to start. Well, yeah, dude. Definitely nuclear is already underway. It's not about to start. It's underway. So let me see if I can get some updates here from the Epic Times and some of the news sites. See if there's any more new here. So, okay. UN Secretary General condemns Israel's military escalation. Well, Javier Gutierrez can shut up. Nobody cares what he's got to say. UN Nation Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez spoke out against what he called military escalation. I'm sorry, did you speak out when they fired 180 missiles and murdered civilians in October of last year, the Iranians? I don't recall him speaking out on that. Iranian military vows U.S. and Israel will pay a heavy price. The U.S., oh, bring it on, Tehran. Bring it on. You will be bombed in the Stone Age. We had nothing to do with this. Spokesperson for the Iranian Armed Forces declared that Zionist enemy in the United States will pay a very heavy price, adding that Iran will unleash a powerful response against the Zionist regime. In addition, Iranian Brigadier General Abdul Fawzi Shekarshi alleged that the Israeli airstrikes were carried out with U.S. support. Now, how would he even know that? These people can't even scratch two sticks together and figure out what's going on. Their leadership is decapitated, and he makes this unsubstantiated claim. Well, bring it on. Bring it on, buddy. Bring it on. You will be bombed into the Stone Age. You will be bombed into the Stone Age. Yep. International Atomic Energy Agency confirms Natanz site hit by Israel. Yep. The IAEA is closely monitoring the deeply concerning situation in Iran. Agency can confirm that Natanz site among the targets. Agencies in contact with Iranian authorities regarding radiation levels are also in contact with our inspectors. Well, we were going to have Iranian talks this weekend with the Trump administration. Not anymore. The Iranian state media confirmed the death of top Revolutionary Guard general, which we talked about earlier, Major General Hussein Salami. Salami. It's probably Salami. Salami. Who cares? U.S. Embassy in Israel instructs all government employees to shelter in place. Iran issued decisive response. Really? You said that 2 hours ago. Nothing yet. Senator Cruz warns Iran not to attack Americans. I want to give a message to the Ayatollah right now. If you strike in America, if you attack our military base, if you kill one single American serviceman or woman, I have every confidence President Trump will respond with overwhelming force. Yep. Sure enough, that's exactly what's happening. Keep it up, Iran. Be stupid. All right, I'm just looking to see if there's any new updates on some of this stuff. Okay, there's CNN. Israel has launched unprecedented strikes in Iran, targeting its nuclear program and senior military leaders, and attack that Netanyahu said will last many days. Iran's supreme leader warned that Israel will face severe punishment. General Hussein Salami, Commander-in-Chief of the Revolutionary Guard, among those killed, as well as Major General Mohammad Bagheri, highest-ranking military officer. Yep. So, yep, they're taking them out. So there's Salami, there's Bagheri, he's taken out. U.S. They're saying the operation was premature with U.S. step-back efforts still underway, says former State Department official. Well, I don't really care about that. Who is that idiot that's saying, oh, Ned Price. Oh, shut up. Yep. We'll see what happens there. Salami's not kosher, says Kevin. Truth Channel last month in New York, members of Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty met. Maybe the Iranian people will stand up to their crappy government. Well, Redux, I don't think so. But people are hoping that's the case. But I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Live updates. Israeli strikes kill 3 top... Oh, wow. Oh, okay. These are lights. Okay, sorry. Israeli strikes kill 3 top Iranian generals and target nuclear sites. Wow. The most powerful generals in Iran were killed in the attack. Wow. What an impressive accomplishment. They can pull this off. Israel launched a stunning series of strikes against Iran on Friday morning, targeting nuclear missile facilities and killing the nation's top 3 generals. Strikes were a major blow to Iran's chain of command. Brigadier General Mohammad Bagheri, the commander-in-chief of the military and second highest commander after the supreme leader, was killed, semi-official Iranian media reported. The commander-in-chief of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard, General Hussein Salami, and General Gholami Rashid were also among those killed in the strikes. Wow. It's crazy. Thank you, Steve, for becoming... Oh, we got a bunch of memberships coming here. Thank you guys for donating memberships. Turn that off. It's going to be distracting. Do your eyes not hurt when looking at white screen? No. Why would my eyes hurt? I've got a little white light here. I mean, we could get Natalie to dim lights. Natalie, could you dim the lights? Is that better? Could just turn them off altogether. Terrorists on notice today, including the ANC. Well, I don't think the ANC is on notice. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei said in a statement that Israel would... he's saying the United States will receive a forceful slap. Bring it on, buddy. Yep. The United States, Israel's main ally, said it was not involved in the strikes. Israel advises that they believe this action was necessary for self-defense. Israel said Iran's main nuclear enrichment facility at Natanz is among the targets. Rafael Grossi, the chief of the International Atomic Energy Agency, confirmed that Natanz had been struck. Oil prices rise. Crude oil prices jumped sharply following the Israeli attack, with Brent crude jumping 9% to $78 a barrel. Iran lies on the northern side of the Strait of Hormuz. Yep. Steve Witkoff, the president's Middle East envoy, still intends to participate in talks in Oman on Sunday with Iranian officials. Okay. Oman said the strikes are reckless and dangerous. Okay. So I'll show you where the strikes occurred, folks. Okay, so this is where the strikes have occurred. All right. Tabriz, Kermanshah, Arak, Tehran, Natanz, and Isfahan. Israel attacked the main nuclear enrichment facility. And here are the attack locations inside of Tehran. Military complex, Shian military base, Parshan military base. Wow. Hitting them hard, folks. Hitting them hard. Footage posted to Telegram, verified by the Times, shows smoke rising from a rural area in Bid Kana, hosts several missile development and production sites likely connected to the IRCG. Social media footage verified by the Times shows flames of smoke billowing from the Natanz nuclear enrichment plant. Yep. Bracing for Iran's response, some Israeli hospitals said they were moving into emergency footing. The Hadassah Medical Center in Jerusalem said it was sending home patients whose condition allowed for that and was canceling all non-essential treatment. Israel's Air Force has now conducted 5 waves of strikes across Iran since the beginning of its operation before dawn. Yeah, this was an hour ago, which one of our viewers mentioned. Yep. Mohammed Momani, Jordan's government spokesman, said the kingdom will not allow its airspace to be violated. Jordan is located... Well, you're going to shoot down the Israeli planes? That's not a good idea, Jordan. Iranian media reported that Brigadier General Mohammad Bagheri was killed. Wow. Getting crazy there, folks. Getting cray-cray. Well, it's Friends and Family Friday. Not brought to you by Trump, but brought to you by the Israelis. As morning broke in Israel, the streets normally bustling on Friday with shoppers preparing for the Sabbath were eerily quiet, expecting an Iranian counterattack, possibly in the coming hours. Some people had headed out before dawn to stock up on food from the 24-hour groceries and lined up at gas stations, but many others were confused on how to proceed, having been told by officials to remain close to protected areas and bomb shelters. Despite the Trump administration saying Israeli strikes were unilateral and without American involvement, Iran's foreign ministry said the attack could not have happened without coordination and authorization from the United States. The ministry said the United States, as Israel's main supporter, would also be responsible for the consequences. Iranians are stupid. They're like the ANC. No wonder these two birds are flocked together, because they're stupid, both of them. Iran said that they destroyed a nuclear reactor dome. It would take some serious firepower to do that. Yeah, it would. Well, there was some serious firepower dumped on them. At least you know when Israel says they're going to do something, they do it. Unlike Putin, unlike a lot of people. With South Africa being associated with Iran, it puts us in a bad situation. Yep. Yeah, Pearl, you're right. They think that Iran thought Israel was bluffing, but they forget that in 1981, Israel blew up Saddam Hussein's nuclear ambitions by attacking their plant in a brilliant strike there. Yes, Retha, how you doing? It is sad. Martin Fundamentalist, with your lights off, you look like a conspiracy theorist who lives in mom's basement. Ha ha ha, not funny. Don't forget to push the like button. Yeah. Jonathan's here. American kids better get ready to join the military because Bibi is going to need them. Nope. Jonathan, you have no concept of our military. It's a voluntary force, and we have 1.3 million people on active duty. South Africa is arrogant. They will have a mouthful to say. Oh, I'm sure they will, Krista. Yep. Friday the 13th. Yeah, it's friends and family only Friday. FAFO. And it's Friday the 13th. Wow. So much context here. Yep, yebo. That's what's happening, folks. 520 people currently here. 505 likes. Can you guys hit more like buttons than that? 5,000 people have tuned in. The average view is 7.32 minutes. You guys can check it out longer than that. Anyway, Yoakum Fundameva says, keep up the good work. I'm enjoying your commentary together with my morning coffee. Oh, I could use some coffee. You know, I was wired earlier. I had 3 Red Bulls, and then I came home and I had a Starbucks full of caffeine and sugar. Oh, yeah, I'm getting a little tired now, but I was wired earlier. I needed it because I was dehydrated and I didn't want a soft drink at the canteen. So why on earth would the Dems blame Trump for this? Are they blaming him? Probably. Good morning, Rudolph Skepis. How's it going? Gotta work now. Shabbat shalom to all my Jewish friends. Yep. Okay, well, thank you for sharing that, Yellow Tapper. FAFO, Friday the 13th. Yep. Curious how the pro-Palestinian crowds in the U.S. feel now, chanting on the streets while their beloved Iran takes a beating. Iran continues to underestimate the capability of Israel. They found out the hard way. Yes, they did. Jan van Riebeck will be at fault. I think that Hendrik Verwoerd had something to do with this as well. You know, it's all apartheid's fault. It is. It's all apartheid's fault, folks. Did you guys know that? Energize Bunny galore with that amount of Red Bulls. Yeah. Mervyn John. Wow, I think it's the first super chat we've gotten tonight. Or is it? Maybe it's the second. Thank you for 100 Rand. It's the second we got. Yep. Truth Seeker just joined in. He's probably going to condemn Israel for what happened. Oh, I'm sure they will. Baruch Hashem. We appreciate all that stand with the Jews. Well, I stand with Israel. Doesn't mean I like Israel. Just means I stand with Israel because they are right, moral, and just in this endeavor. Was woken up by missile sirens because of the Houthis in Israel at 2 a.m. and have been awake since. Unknown. Are you in Israel, Unknown? Whereabouts in Israel, man? I used to live there. Down near Eilat. Yep. It was interesting. Iran continues to underestimate. Yeah, they do. They really underestimate them. Rick Heron, what's going on, man? Susie Serfontaine. Red Bull is not good for you. No, it's not good for you. And neither is the deep fried shrimp that I had and the French fries. That's terrible for you as well. But I had to get something in my system. I was starving. So that went out of his way to support Iran. Yep. Hit the X to right to live. Okay, then. Okay, cool. No, Red Bull is bad for you. But so are many things. Many things that are good in life are bad for you. I don't drink Jägermeister. That's cough syrup, man. Ugh, I've never liked Jägermeister. I never got that. Ugh. No, it's just, it's just ick. Daniela Whitfield, welcome to you. HF, long live Israel and America. God is with you and will protect his people. All this has been prophesized. Okay, I didn't know it was prophesized. Think good night's sleep. Well, with all this Red Bull in me, how am I getting to sleep? Recovering from a ram attack. Ankle really busted. Oh, damn, Rick. Sorry to hear that. What kind of sheep you got there, man? Render, what do you expect from communists? Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Rainier Funderberg. South Africa went out of its way to support Iran, Hamas. I already got that. I live in Jerusalem, family in Israel. Oh, Linda, okay, cool. I lived near a lot down south at Ovda Air Base. Estelle's laughing. Eventually, Red Bull wings crash. Nope, doesn't happen to me, man. It's the taurine inside that's bad for you. I had Red Bull burst in a prep. See? Falling asleep. Eine kleine Nachtmusik. Good morning from Sweden. Wow, Anders, good morning. That's Sweden. Oh, we got Swedish people here in the show now. How's it going there, man? I've been to Sweden many times. My ancestors are from Öland and Kalmar. Way back. Way back. They married into a Dutch family from Middelburg, which was part of the Hanseatic League, because Kalmar was a Hanseatic League city. Yep, ancestors going all the way back to the year like 534 in Boda, on the very far north of Öland. Yep, that island. Yep, Sweden. Oh, Anders, good to see you there. What's going on, man? We got people from all over. You'll usually have people from Sweden in here. Jack and Renee Poltney, good morning. Been waiting for this attack for a long time. A lot of people have. Da Boss, they are there, currently protecting federal building from looting lawless immigrants. Good. I'm a dragonfly, especially the sugar-free, says Steve Orkia. Mad Max is back. Good to see you from the Val Dam. How's it going, man? Beautiful places, says Anders. Yeah, no, those are beautiful places, Anders. I love Sweden, but you guys have let too many foreigners in that have had ill intent. Nothing wrong with letting foreigners in, but not people that don't want to assimilate with your society. But Sweden is lovely, man. I like Sweden, and Norway is way too expensive, but it's beautiful. And Finland, I spent a lot of time in Finland as well, so pretty cool. Last time I was in Sweden, I flew in Stockholm. We've got a business airport plus the international airport. They're both international, but the business is different. So I flew from Brussels. I flew from Stuttgart to Brussels to that business airport, and then I stayed on that the Dottingham or something like that. It was one of those Hollywood stars own the ship. It's a hotel, sits in the water there. Yeah, I stayed there, and then I picked up my rental car, walked back to the rental car place at Avis, picked it up, and then drove to the port and got on a cruise ship and sailed to the Öland Islands. That's actually when I got my DNA results, because I'd done the matrilineal, the mitochondrial DNA test with Ancestry.com, sent my results in, and I got an email that the results were in, and I found out when I was on that cruise ship going over to the Öland Islands. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yep, never forget that. That was 2012, I think it was, yeah. Follow developments during the night, but now it's time for coffee and preparing for morning exercise, okay? Yes, we have. It's gone off the rails. Yes, Anders. Well, Anders, I'm very excited to see you there. Thank you for subscribing. I didn't know you were here. Didn't know you were in Sweden, man. So cool. Retha says, I would love to know where my father's family are from. Didn't know him at all. Mandela's, I'm Mary's sister's great-grandson, not Nelson Mandela's. Okay, whatever. Wild Bear Prep, I've already recorded the video, so people can correct me. That was reported in the media as such. I don't know. He's just an idiot, so. I think the amount of money they borrowed was divided equally between all the impoverished citizens. Yeah, good point. In 2012, you were in Afghanistan. Okay, in 2012, I was in Germany at Africa Command, and I took a holiday and went to Stockholm and to Öland. I had a fantastic, I was there for Skurdefest. Skurdefest was awesome, man. I'm driving all over to Öland, not Öland, that's the islands that they're part of Finland, but they're 90% Swedish-speaking, ethnic Swedish. I'm driving all over there on the red, granite-covered roads, pulling up these little places. It's Skurdefest. In fact, let me see if I can find some of those pictures from the Öland Islands. So I need to get into images. Where's photos? Come on, photos. There we go. Photos. Okay, wrong account. Got to switch to the other account. Let's switch to that account. Okay, now I'm there, and I want Öland. Let me see. Yeah, Öland Island, September 2012. Here we go. I think I've shown some of these pictures before. Yeah, pretty cool. So I was driving around for Skurdefest, man. Pretty cool stuff. Had a great time. Looking, here we go. Welcome to Lumpaland. Welcome to Lumpaland. Yeah, that's welcome. Are you still there, Andis? Yeah, there you go. Pretty cool stuff. I love these islands. Didn't exist about 8,000 years ago. They were risen up out of the Baltic. Yep, pretty cool. That's Swedish, of course. Welcome to Lumpaland. Lumpaland. Let me see. Can you see it on that one? Hard to see, but the roads are actually red because it's granite. I'm trying to find something that's going to fit perfectly here. Let me see. Lots of ferries. Here's Fin Lines. This is one of the boats. That's the ferry crossing, going from place to place. A bunch of islands here. So, come on. Looking for. Oh, that's the Pullman. It's the ship I was on. Here you go. Here I am in 2012. On the Pullman, one of the grain ships that used to make the run from Australia to the UK. Trying to win a competition delivering grain. Found some moose out there. There's the moose. Welcome to Hammerland. Okay. Welcome to Eckerö. Okay. Oh, that was my rental car. Check it out. That's the car I had when I was in Öland. Nevanel worked in Iraq, knew many Iranians. They're good people and don't have any time for mullahs. Yep. I've been to Brussels and Belgium when I was in high school. My friend's dad worked at the embassy. Take care, Xavier. Okay. Okay, I'm looking. What was I trying to find here? There was something I've forgotten. Oh, Skurdefest. That's what I want to do. Here we go. Here's Skurdefest. Yeah, let's check this out. So this was Öland. So there you go. Skurdefest. Yeah, man. The fall festival. Skurdefest. People are like, "You're an American. What are you doing here in Öland?" I said, "I came for Skurdefest." Well, this is Finland, not Sweden. It's Finland. It's pretty cool. There you go, Skurdefest. There was just, oh, there you go. You can see the roads red there. See, that's all red granite. That's, they crushed the granite up and paved the roads with it. Fed coming to Finström. There you go. Look at all these old-timey cars, man. Look at that Volvo. Oof. There's some sheep. Some maypole. Pretty. Anyway, Skurdefest, the fall festival. I saw. I went. I didn't go there for it, but it was happening when I was there. And people were like, "What are you doing here?" "I'm here for Skurdefest." Yeah. Okay. Right. Missed what type of DNA you used. I used mitochondrial DNA test for that one. I also had Y chromosome. Men can do both. Women can only do mitochondrial. Once for a bit was working on the border. Okay. Sweden is beautiful. It is. 2%. I can have 2% of the arable land. I was told that my grandparents, my dad's side, are from Germany. Well, with a name like Svat, is a very good chance, although Schwarz would be better. Am I correct in thinking Israel, Iron Dome are unique and at the moment the best protect? Yes, you are correct, Anton. The United States wants to replicate that. Yep. Super laser system now. Who does? 1% Khoisan. I have none. I have 23andMe. I have Family Tree. I have a whole bunch of different things. So, but the first one I did was with Ancestry.com. Right, folks. Okay, been at this for 2 hours. It's time to wrap up. 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got to edit a video and get it published. Please look for that, and we'll see you guys a little bit later on. Your maiden name is Barn. Bam. Excuse me. Goodness, if I remember correctly, a few days ago on the show, Common Sense Serves, you speculated an upset in Iran following the withdrawal of Americans from Iraq. Yeah, I did, Rita. I did. That was actually last night. For you guys, it's well, for all of us now, it's 2 days ago. Yep, that's correct. I speculated that war was coming with Iran. Did I not? And Israel was going to attack. Did I not say that? I didn't crow about that. Thank you, Rita, for mentioning that. I did say that, but it wasn't a hard prediction, to be honest. Yep, I think a lot of people were waiting for this to happen. All right, you guys have a good one. Be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind, and we'll catch you later. Cheers. Let me get my video posted, and I'm going to go to bed after that. God bless everybody. Thanks for being here. Take care.